What is good, Legend of Zelda fans? It is your boy HMK once again, and it looks like the holidays came early, as this is a speculation. This isn't a what-if scenario. The next Legend of Zelda game could be a lot closer than you think on Nintendo Switch 2. Where are we getting this from? Well, from the man himself, Eiji Aonuma. Super recently, like pretty much today, in order to celebrate the release of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment on the Switch 2, we got a big interview with the Zelda team and the Koei Tecmo team, in which they talk about various aspects on how this project came to be, and of course, letting slip about the potential of the future for the Legend of Zelda franchise on the Switch 2. And I'm gonna tell you what I think, so be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK. Let's dive directly into the noise. On a little bit of a side note, let me just say that I am loving playing Age of Imprisonment. I'm on my way to 100% the game like I did for Age of Calamity, so wish me luck. So anyways, on to the interview. The goal to tell the story of the imprisonment war, which they couldn't fully portray in Tears of the Kingdom, was through a combat-oriented game. So of course, Hyrule Warriors came to mind. The story, portrayals, characters, and names were all provided by the Zelda team, and everything was built upon that in tandem between the two teams. Members of AAA, which is the new studio created under Koei Tecmo, in which their first project was Age of Imprisonment, had freshly printed copies of Tears of the Kingdom masterworks to use as references. According to Fujibayashi, Lenalia was incredibly important to include in Age of Imprisonment in order to flesh out Zelda's lady-in-waiting who chronicled the events of the past within that of Tears of the Kingdom. Fujibayashi's favorite character in the game is the Knight Construct, and Aonuma's favorite character in the game is Kalamo, in which there are both original characters made for Age of Imprisonment, and that the Knight Construct was a joint creation between the Zelda team and the Koei Tecmo team. Alright, now to the juicy. Aonuma actually admitted that he wanted his team, the Zelda team, to release the first new Zelda title for the Nintendo Switch 2. But Koei Tecmo beat them to the punch, in that the inspiration that the Zelda team had experienced while working on this project may be reflected in the next Zelda game, and that to imagine that while you're playing Age of Imprisonment and to look forward to the Zelda team and their next Zelda. Okay, let me gather my thoughts because, in my opinion, that's quite the bombshell to end off when it comes to an interview like this. Well, here's what I think. I find this really cool that this is pretty much coinciding the Monolith Soft interview on how they were brought into the Zelda franchise and their hopes in the future in assisting developing what is next for Zelda. Now, does this mean that the next Zelda game could be much closer than we think? In my opinion, it's undoubtedly in development if we got Aonuma making comments like this about trying to be the first new Zelda release on Switch 2. And you know, the fact that the 4th anniversary of Zelda is technically next year, but worldwide will be celebrated in 2027, and the movie is coinciding all of that. So what do we have cooking? I've already seen people on both sides of the spectrum hyping up what Aonuma said about Age of Imprisoment's inspiration and or influence, and people doom posting about it. I wouldn't be too worried if, are worried about this statement, as inspiration and influence can come in many shapes and sizes. And funny enough, Aonuma said the same thing or something incredibly similar back when the first Hyrule Warriors came out before Breath of the Wild, and despite what grifters be saying online, it all came out great. As Aonuma said that it may influence the next Zelda, it doesn't mean it's going to shape it completely. Something that I would love from Age of Imprisonment to influence the next Zelda are aspects of the combat in the combat department, in which I'm not talking about 1 versus 1000 in a Zelda game, more so the idea of more flashier, customizable combo strings and animations. I feel like that can easily work for an action-adventure game, and I've always been a big advocate for that being incorporated into Zelda. They've tested the waters with that since Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, so I think it's time for you to take the plunge, Nintendo. But other than that, I'm excited for the future. But the big question that relates to what is being heard on the grapevine is the next Zelda game going to be an original title, or is it going to be a remake? As there have been rumors swirling around that for a while that portrays the idea of a from the ground up remake of either Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. And honestly, I'm down for either, especially since that way we can introduce a new generation of potential Zelda fans to love the roots of Zelda to be placed alongside of the movie. And if it is an original game, then the question would have been, would it be a traditional top-down style Zelda or a 3D style Zelda? Well, I'm banking on 3D style as we did get Echoes of Wisdom after Tears of the Kingdom. But hey, the sky is the limit. Do you think we're gonna get the next Zelda sooner than later? Or maybe way sooner? I'm not saying next year, but I mean maybe next year. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And be sure to like, share, and most importantly subscribe to HMK. So until the next Zelda video, this has been your boy HMK, and I'll check you guys later.